Marianne, the last time we got together and had one of these conversations, we talked about 25 years of marriage, the ups, the downs, the ins and outs, and all the rest. I want to kind of piggyback off of that tonight, though, and I want to talk about something that we didn't expect, something that I didn't expect, and I think it's true of you too. Conversations off camera, we've kind of come to the same conclusion. We're not married to the same person that we married.
That's true.
How? How is that not true? That's what I want to talk about in this one.
How is that true? How is that true? You said how is that not true? How is that true?
Yeah, how is it not that we are
okay,
married to the same person?
I think because we're 25 years older than we were when we got married. And there's a lot of life that happens in 25 years. So I think you've grown as a person, developed into who you are, and life happens, so it kind of, chisels away certain things in you or forms certain things in you that when we first got married, you hadn't had that experience yet, or I hadn't had that experience yet. Life hadn't jaded me or you, or you just didn't have as many experiences. So the older you get, the more you come into yourself, the more you develop and become who you really are. And so I think you're constantly changing as you get older. What do you think?
Well, I've been married to many women. Well, I mean, I have. Not many women who have a different name. I just like many women. I've been married to so many women in one that when we first were married, that was a specific type of woman. You were a specific type of woman. Mm-hmm. And then we had our first child, and you became a different type of woman. And then we had our second child, a different type of woman. And then we went through what I think is like the pivotal point in our life, in our marriage. It was a very turbulent time for me, professionally speaking, and of course that affected the family. And then you became a different woman then. And then we had a third baby, and now you're a mom of three, and I started working at home, and you were a different mom, and now our oldest daughter has been married, and I saw you as a different woman through that, and now our second daughter is going to college, and I'm seeing you as a different woman through that, and our son has started driving. And so I'm seeing you as a different woman. So I've been married to a lot of different women.
Okay, I did not know you were gonna say it like that.
Yeah, I mean that's just my way of saying it. Like I've been married to a lot of different women. It just happens to be you.
Yeah.
You're the you're the one name that's been on the marriage license with me, mm-hmm. But I've been married to 8 different women. I'm not saying that's a bad thing. What I'm saying is life ebbs and flows.
Yes.
And as you were saying, life kind of chisels you, and I think that's true. Life does chisel you, but my commitment has never been to a version of you. Like I've never looked back, and I'm not saying that I'm some kind of standard or something. I mean, because you could tell everybody all my problems, but I've never looked at you as, well, I wish you were this way, the way you were before we had kids, or the way you were when we had small kids. I just wish you would just go back to being something. It's kind of like the marriage itself has evolved as we've gotten older and life has happened.
Right.
And my commitment has always been to Marianne.
Right.
Even though Marianne takes on different shapes and forms through the years, my commitment has been to you.
It's kind of like marriage can't be a lead pipe. It has to be able to flow.
Yeah, it's
or
not
move.
fixed.
Yeah, it's
It's
not
not
fixed.
static.
Yeah, it's not. It's not static. It definitely
Look at
has
you
to.
with the illustration there. I mean, that's kind of good. It's that marriage.
I thought of it on the fly.
Marriage is not a lead pipe.
It's I could use a lead pipe.
Well, marriage is not a
Sometimes.
lead pipe. It's more fluid.
Right.
It kind of ebbs and flows.
Yes.
It evolves. It grows. It develops.
Kind
It
of like a
matures.
slinky.
Life is not a lead pipe. Marriage is not a lead pipe. It's a slinky.
A slinky.
Thank you. Now, I understand it all.
Glad I could help.
Well, I'm there for you. So let me ask you this, because we've talked about ebb and flow, and it's not a lead pipe, it's a slinky and all that stuff. But was there a particular season of the last 25 years that you're like, I just don't know if we're going to make it through this? And here's the reason I ask that. Because as you know, I counsel a lot of young couples, and a young couple, it's interesting to me that I'm not a young couple anymore, and so they come to me for advice, and I'm always scratching my head going, why are you asking me? You know,
Right.
but
Right.
I always kind of chuckle, not to them of course, but I kind of chuckle because what they're facing, that's the first time they faced it,
Right.
and so they think it's way bigger than it really is.
Right.
And of course, that's like, 6 links behind me. I'm just a little ahead of you, and I'm going, hey, that's no big deal. Okay.
Right.
So, as you look back, what was one of the seasons where you thought, how are we going to get through this? Not, I'm going to divorce Kevin, I'm going to, kill him in his sleep or
Right.
anything. But how are we going to make it through this?
Yeah. I really think it has a lot to do with the way that you started talking tonight about how we're not the same people, and I think for me there was a time where I started to realize how different we are, because we've developed and grown, and like you said, life's seasons have changed us, chiseled, and then rebuilt back in many different ways. So we've grown into that, and we're pretty different. We're very different people, and I think when I first started to realize how different we are, I kind of thought, wow, how do you live in that? How do you have a healthy marriage when you're really different? I mean, we approach situations differently. We like different things. Entertainment or kind of just hobbies are very different. The way we respond to people is different. So we're just really different people. And I think when I first started to kind of realize that, I thought, wow, how do you but I think the way that you said it is exactly right. We made a commitment to each other. I made a commitment to Kevin. You made a commitment to Marianne. No matter who that person becomes or is, we made a commitment, and so we fight and figure out how to live with each other, even though we are very, very different.
So that season, then, when was that? We were married 25 years. So what?
It took a long time. I mean, we were probably married 20 years. I don't know.
It took you 20
maybe
years.
15.
20 years to know that we were different.
I'm slow. Well, I think because, we were first married, we were young, and we were finishing college and starting jobs, and then we had children. And when you have children, they kind of take over, and you have to fight so that when they're gone, you still have a marriage. But I think so. When they got older and they got more independent, I started to look and think, wow, we're really different people. So I don't know. I think probably around there.
So, I think along those lines, a season where you go, man, I just don't know that we're going to make it through it. I never really looked at, like I said, at you and said, I can't do this anymore. I mean, there have been times that you've made me really angry for sure, but I never looked at it and said, okay, I just don't know if we can make it. Now, there were some, experiences along the way when we were married that happened. Not you did it or I did it, but like it happened to us as an individual, or to you as an individual, or to us as a couple, or to us as a family, whatever. And I thought, how do you navigate this? Like, how do you make it through this?
Right.
So there have been a number of downs. I would say in 25 years, a number of downs that when you're in that down period, you're like, I can't see. I don't know. What's coming next.
Yeah. And those times can be kind of shocking sometimes. They can just, I don't know, you're just moving along in life and then something happens and then you have these thoughts of how are you going to make it through this? And so I think that creates a little tension and fear of the unknown and things like that. So, yeah. So what about like a season? Do you remember a season in our life where things might have been really tense, or where changes that we experienced, some of these changes even, where we experienced that created tension in the marriage?
Like a circumstance that happened?
Yeah, or just a season. I mean, any particular time
I
where
don't
some
know.
of the changes.
Yeah, I don't know that I can put my finger on that, but I in our relationship, I'm the one that communicates. I think that's fair to say.
Yeah, but you did get me on here. This is the second time.
This is the second time.
Yes, and I'm here talking. So.
I know. I don't know how that changes what I just said, but
it proves what you just said.
Oh,
but I'm just saying.
Well, I mean, nobody knows that I'm, holding you at gunpoint to do this. Blink twice if you need help.
You're not, but.
But my point is, I think what you just said a minute ago, when you started realizing that we were really different, you emotionally withdrew. I didn't know that you were emotionally withdrawing. I didn't know the rules. I didn't know you were doing that. I think you were kind of thinking things and going, oh my gosh, like, who is this guy? Who are we? What are we doing? I mean, 20 years into the 25 years, you're doing that. And I did sense the withdrawal. And I had a number of conversations with you about, what's going on? Like, what's going on? I don't know that you could verbalize it. You could put it out there, but you're battling your own thing. So I think that was, like a change in the relationship where you're like coming of age. The kids are, 5 years ago, the kids they're not old by no means, but they're all, teenagers, and we're dealing with all that. But I think that is what created tension. I think that was one of the seasons that created tension because there wasn't a lot of communication from you about what was going on in your mind. But I knew something was going on. I could sense it. You were different. So I would say that's one of the things that kind of created tension, at least.
Yeah.
And we had a number of conversations about it, and eventually it came out, what you said, and it's like, we're just so different. Like, we're so different. So then I got to go process that then and go, what does that even mean? Like, we're different. Duh. But it was a very sanctifying time because it kind of refined our marriage in the fact that we both realized we don't have to have a lot in common.
Yeah.
What about you? What season of life created tension in your mind?
I do remember when the kids were little, we had just moved back to Grenada, a short stint in Georgia, and we moved back and we were in a big transition. You had always worked at an office outside the home, taught school, or worked at the funeral home. You always went out and worked. And then we moved back, and there was the transition period of what are we, what's going to happen here. Grace Baptist was starting, and you were working through all of that. You were working through transitioning to I'm working from home. And then I remember there were times where we had to adjust to that. It was a really big life change, and I think I put a lot of, maybe some pressure, undue pressure on you for certain things at home that I didn't quite understand the pressure that you were under internally, and with this big transition with our family. So I think that brought a lot of tension in just kind of day-to-day things in the house. Like if you were working in your office and I was home with the kids, and I would just pop in expecting you to go do something, or can you watch this kid so I can go do this or whatever. And then I just kind of really realized that I had to back off of that. I had to back off of you and let you figure this out, let you work out, and we had to learn how to manage that together.
Yeah, that was a big adjustment. Hey, let me ask you this though, like on a positive note. I don't want to get too deep off in like serious tension creating things, but I think it's important to talk about. But if you could go back and relive 1 year of the 25 years, what would that look like?
I think it would be when our kids were probably like 4, 6, and 9, somewhere in there, those young ages. We were homeschooling, we were settled in that, right. And that was, looking back, the days were not always fun. They were long, but looking back, what a fun time. I'd do anything to go back and do it again.
That's interesting you said that you do anything. It was very hard.
Yeah.
But now looking back, you go, man, I wish I could do that for another year.
Right. If I could go back to do that again, man, it'd be.
Because you're a different woman now.
Yeah.
That's the whole point.
So,
like you're a different woman now, so you're a different person now.
Yeah.
Because of life, because of love, because of faith, because of family.
Right.
So for I forgot 4, 6, and 9, whatever they are. I can't do the math in my head right now, but whatever they are, they're all under 10. They're not pre-teen yet. They're not even teen yet.
Right.
And what was so special about that to you in your mind now?
In my mind now, well, I think one, you just were spending time with them. You didn't realize how much you were teaching them by just being with them and letting them do life with you. Watch you do things, go to the bank, go to lawyer's offices, whatever. You didn't really realize that. Again, I guess I'm a different person now, and looking back, I wish I could tell my younger self to just embrace it, enjoy it. Yeah. Yes, the days may be kind of hard, but it's all worth it. The effort and energy and intention is definitely worth it. So, picturing a school day, and then we would always, we would take the kids to Spencer's and get ice cream a lot after supper. We'd just go get ice cream cone, and that was always fun. Yeah. Fun time. Yeah. So that's all I got for that. Yeah. What so we talked about the tension. What's something that you feel like helped us to grow together instead of growing apart? So we've talked a lot about how we were different people, and now we've grown. So how do you grow together instead of apart when you're different?
How do you grow together instead of apart while you're different? I don't know that I've got the corner office on that answer. I can only speak for myself. I think for me, over the last 2.5 decades or so, it's been quiet time with you And what I mean by that, I don't mean some like overly spiritual experience like quiet time. What I mean is the kids are in bed when they were 4, 6, and 9. And you and I would sit on the couch and just talk.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Yeah.
like there was no TV on, or we weren't really on our phones. We were just, talking. And I would have to beg you to stay up, past 9 because you turn into a pumpkin at 9. And you would say, "Oh, I just can't keep my eyes open." And it was just kind of debriefing the day.
Yeah.
Just kind of reconnecting with you and going, "Hey, where are you?"
Yeah. I kind of, this may be going back on what we were talking about just a second ago, but about why that time when the kids were about that age was so, important, or if I could go back, I would go there. And you just said something reminded me of something else I had thought about. That's such a crucial time. We didn't know it then, but you're right on the cusp of teenagers. And it's totally raising teenagers and raising young children. There's a difference.
Mm-hmm.
It's very different.
Mm-hmm.
So along with this, with this question about how do you grow together when you're so different instead of growing apart, I think it's so important here at this point, because when your kids are that age, they take a lot from you physically. You're physically exhausted. So, like I'm falling asleep on the couch at 8:30, 9 o'clock, So it's physically exhausting then. But if we didn't take time to talk or go on a little night getaway or things like that, then there would be no connection there. And looking back, I can see how important it was that we did find ways, small ways, to connect at that point in life, so that when we got to the teenage years, we were connected. Because you have to be together when you're raising teenagers, because it turns from physical exhaustion to mental and emotional exhaustion, and I needed you to, when we're not finished with the teenage years yet, but to embrace us. Of course, I didn't know that at the time, but I think that's why I look back to that time too, because it's kind of and this is probably not a very good thing, but it's probably like the last time that you could really control. I could control the circumstances,
right,
and situations. So, which that's probably a whole other conversation right there.
Yeah, I think that's a personal. That's Moby Dick.
That's personal
right?
growth.
That's a huge well that
that's
you just let out right there.
Right. Because then when they become teenagers, there's so much that you are not controlling. So there's a lot of trust in the Lord in those times. But
which is kind of ironic. It's kind of ironic because you go, well, I can't control the teenagers, therefore I've got to trust the Lord. You got to trust the Lord just as much with young kids.
True.
But you have this illusion that you can control them.
Right.
You can kind of.
Well, you can control their schedules. Yeah.
You can corral them.
Right.
But you can't control them.
No.
And that's kind of the irony here. I think that's part of the ebb and flow. I said a minute ago, I've been married to a different, multiple women.
Right.
That's it. Like, you thought you could control them at one period of your life, but you found out in the very next period that you can't.
Mm, right.
So that slinky part of the life that we've had together is a growing part of your life.
Yeah.
But I want to go back to something you said a minute ago. We used to go to the lake a lot.
Mm-hmm.
When the kids were little, we'd go get ice cream. We'd ride the lake. We'd tell them stories on the way out to the lake. Man, they still remember that today. Like, they're married and going to college and everything. And like Mary Pinson said the other day, Dad, you remember we used to go to the lake and you used to put it in reverse, like going down. You would tell us that you've lost control of the car.
Yeah, I think I missed that.
Yeah,
trip.
we didn't.
I've heard that story.
Yeah, we didn't let you go
I
to
don't
that.
think I was on that one. I don't know what I was doing.
That's a dad. Being a dad with his kids.
I guess so.
Anyway, I think that would be some of the times that I'd go back and relive.
Yeah.
You know, if it was me.
Yeah.
If it was up to me.
Yeah. I just think it's important for, you know, connection. How do you grow together? Well, if you're gonna be together, you have to talk and you have to see each other and spend time together. And I think you need to cultivate that from the beginning.
How do you do that though if you're very different, like you described us? You know, you're so different. You got different interests. You got different hobbies. You got different everything. How do you cultivate time together?
Yeah. Well, you make it. You go figure something out to do that you both like, or it doesn't even have to be anything fancy.
I don't think you have to go do anything.
Well, that's what I was about to say. Like you said, we just sit and talk.
Yeah.
Just there's nothing to it. You're just talking, but that's connection. That's communicating.
So, what's one thing that you're still learning about yourself? 25 years. What are you still learning about yourself?
About myself?
Mm-hmm.
That I really have to let go a lot more. I really need to let go.
What is that? What is that? What do you mean, let go?
Let go of control. Let go of my expectations. Let go of how I think something should go, how I think something should happen.
Yeah.
And just remember that life is not life. Sometimes we make life harder than it is.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, the Ecclesiastes says to enjoy your life, enjoy the life that you've been given. So learning how I want to, and I'm learning that I need to enjoy what I've been given a lot more than what I do.
So what have you learned about me? Or what are you still learning about me in 25 years?
I'm still learning that you need time to think and process. I'm also learning how to, because of who you are, who you've grown and developed to, if I come to you and I say something that you view as a problem, you're going to go straight into fix mode. You're going to go straight into, well, I got to fix that. So I guess learning, it's helpful for you if I'll just say to you, okay, look, I don't need you to fix this. I just need you to hear this situation. And when I do that, your whole demeanor is like totally different.
It's amazing what happens when communication takes place. Yeah. It's amazing. Unbelievable. Yeah.
But if I just came and said, this is what's happening, and then you just dive in really strong,
I'm going to go fix
feeling, that I'm like, wait, that's not what I want. So I have learned to just kind of be upfront about, this is what I need from you. This is how I need you to react.
Isn't it amazing how you tell your partner, like, this is what I need from you, and your partner goes, oh
yeah.
Yeah, it goes to the communication thing. So if you were to ask me that question, you know, what have I learned about you and me? I'll just put it together for sake of time. Like, what have I learned about you and me? We do not communicate the same way.
Absolutely.
We do not communicate the same way. And you said the word expectation a minute ago. I think sometimes you put expectations on your spouse because that's the way you are.
Right.
And then when they don't measure up to the way you think they should be, then you run into disappointment, discouragement, you know, whatever. I think a lot of marital problems could be solved if we gave the spouse the room to be themselves. Instead of me trying to
make you something,
contort you into my version of you.
Mm-hmm.
You know, essentially that's idolatry. I'm trying to remake you in my image. Mm-hmm. And you do the same with me. Mm-hmm. You try to take me and, you know, mold me into the way you want me to be. And that doesn't work out very well.
Yeah.
It doesn't work out very well at all. it just leads to frustration, anxiety, worry, doubt. I don't know if I'm in love anymore, and all this stuff.
Right.
And I just want to go, bleh. Like what does that even mean?
Right.
I'm not in love anymore.
Yeah.
Do I have like butterflies when I'm around you? No, I don't, because I'm way past butterflies. I'm way past that into actual love.
Right. Commitment.
Yeah, commitment to a vow I took before God and you.
Right.
So even though I've had 8 different women, in our married life,
you're gonna have to get a different way to say that.
I think it's perfect.
I think also knowing how it takes self-control to know how it best to approach you or to talk to you about something, or I know that the way that you process things with time and thinking, you need space to do that. Well, that takes self-control from me, because if I come in and tell you one thing and you're not responding the way that I want you to, then I got to give you space to do that. That's really one thing I've learned too, is I just got to back off. And that's hard, because I'm wanting you to fix it or do it like I want it done. And that...
Yeah, you don't want it fixed.
No, I want it done like I want it.
You want it fixed the way you want it fixed.
Right. And then when you don't immediately... Sometimes, there's something that's got to be thought through. And it's not jumping to a conclusion. And you need time and space to chew on that and figure that out. And if I keep coming, harassing you, I know that for you, that's not giving you what you need. So I think I've learned that about you. I've learned that you need, and if I'm not like that, it doesn't matter. I have to respect that and give you that time and space.
All right, so if you were to summarize this thing, the whole point is we're not married to the same person that we first married. I think that's safe to say.
Yeah.
Now, clearly you're still Mary Ann. Your social security number is, and I'm still Kevin. My social security number is whatever. But life has happened.
Yeah. Children
have been brought into the world. Your upbringing and my upbringing have collided. We're under one roof. What are we going to do now? Like, life happened. And I look back on the time and I go, man, it's beautiful. Extremely hard, difficult, lots of different emotions are brought out of you, brought to the surface, but that's the Lord's work. Mm-hmm. One of the things I think about marriage a lot is, marriage is about sanctification. It's about growth. It's about development. And development and growth are not easy things. And the proximity that a married couple, you and I, have to one another brings out all of those sinful thoughts, sinful urges, sinful desires, sinful frameworks, sinful ways of thinking. And you've got to have categories to process that.
Yeah.
And I think that's what, God gives us in marriage. He gives us an opportunity to grow.
To work those things out.
To grow.
Yeah.
To grow.
Yeah.
Well, all right. What about you? Anything else? 25 years?
25 years.
You're not married to who you thought you were? I'm an imposter.
No. I mean, there's lots that's different. But it's still a commitment to the person. And then you work through the rest of it.